محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، فهذه ليلة الجمعة، ليلة عظيمة مباركة يسن فيها الإكثار من الصلاة على سيدي ومولاي رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه من كل عمل صالح. This is the night of Jumu'ah. It's a blessed night. There's a lot of barakah in this night. The sunnah is to increase your salah upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in every good deed. We continue inshallah ta'ala tonight reciting parts or hadith from the book of الشمائل المحمدية by Imam al-Tirmidhi rahimahullah. And tonight I'm going to read for you from the chapter Bab ما جاء في صفة إدام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. It talks about what he ate عليه الصلاة والسلام, his food. And last time it talks specifically about the bread that he had. This time it talks about his food in general عليه الصلاة والسلام. I have three short hadith I want to share with you, and inshallah you'll find them you'll find it beneficial. يقول حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد عن مالك بن أنس الإمام عن إسحاق بن عبد الله بن أبي طلحة أنه سمع أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه يقول. So if you listen to this hadith is in the collection of Imam Bukhari and Muslim, and you can see that Imam Tirmidhi narrated from a man by the name of Qutayba bin Sa'id, a great scholar of his time, who was one of the narrators of hadith, who learned from Imam Dar al-Hijrah, Malik ibn Anas, the leader of the Maliki madhab. Imam Malik heard this hadith from Ishaq ibn Abdullah ibn Abi Talha, one of the tabi'een, who heard it from Anas ibn Malik. So Imam Malik has some hadith that are thunaiya, meaning between him and the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, two people. Imam Malik in his Muwatta, which is why Muwatta is one of the most important books of hadith, is that between him and Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, only two people, a tabi'i and Anas ibn Malik, which makes and these are asanid aliyah. These are high levels of asanid, of chains of narration, because the number of people within the chain is very, very few. And mind you, that there is value to that for sure. To have a hadith that has high level of that's a high narration, meaning only two or three people in the chain, but one of them there's some concern, versus a chain of 7 people, all of them golden. The one that has 3 people is better because it's closer, because the margin of error is decreased the less people there are in a chain. It's just human, it's just common sense and it's human nature. The less people that are narrating, the more likely this is authentic because it's close. So Imam al-Tirmidhi, some hadith he has, between him and Malik, Imam Malik is just one person. So he has these asanid aliyah in Jami' al-Tirmidhi, where between him and the Prophet ﷺ is 4 or 5 people. And of course, this is important for those who study mustalah al-hadith and find it interesting. It has value to it. فقال أنس بن مالك, the Sahabi رضي الله عنه, قال إن خياطا دعا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم لطعام صنعه. There's a tailor who called the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام over for food that he had made at his home. He wanted the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام over for food. فقال أنس فذهبت مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى ذلك الطعام. Anas said, and I went with the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام to eat the food. فقرب إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم خبزا من شعير ومرقا فيه دباء وقديد. So the man, he put forward khubz sha'ir, barley bread, and maraq. The Arab, if you come from a village somewhere in the Middle East or anywhere in that area, you don't have to be Arabi, you would sit on the ground and there would be like a bowl that has something that has a lot of liquid in it. And then they just add all these things to it. You leave a Middle Eastern man to cook, he'll just take all of the vegetables and stuff in the house and throw them into it, and then leave it to boil for a while, and then throw it in front of you and put some salt and tell you to eat, and they think it's actually good. And this is what they would eat. And the Prophet ﷺ, this is what he, by the way, there's an example, you read the books of Seerah, where Amr ibn al-As, after conquering Egypt, which was one of the most difficult things that the Muslims ever did. It was very hard, took a lot of effort. Amr ibn al-As literally had to spend all of his intellect and everything he had to get this done. When he got it done, he was made the governor. And of course, becoming the governor of Egypt is a very good way to become rich. And he was not corrupt, but he, as the governor, was well off. He did well for himself, and he'd always done well for himself, radiallahu anhu. He was called by Umar al-Khattab to come, because Umar al-Khattab would call all of his governors for meetings. So he came, and with him he brought a vice, like an advisor, a consultant that he had with him. So this consultant had never met, he'd never met the Prophet ﷺ. He'd never met Umar either. So he came to Umar and he found Umar sitting as the Prophet ﷺ was, and he's eating a certain type of food. Some narrations call it tharid, some say khabis. And he's eating, and the man, and he sees Umar ibn al-As, and he says, come and eat. So Amr comes and he starts eating, and he tells the guy with him to eat. So the guy hesitates and eats. So he eats, and they finish the meeting and leave. So the man, after he finished, he wants to vomit. Yani. He told him, "Why did you make me eat?" He said, "Had I not eaten, he would have taken away my governorship. He would have removed me. Yani, he would have fired me from my job if I didn't eat. Because if I didn't eat, he would have said, so now you don't eat this food anymore. Khalas, you're out. You become too pampered in your new position." So he said, "I ate even though I'm like you. I was ready to vomit. This was not food that I would ever eat." And a lot of the foods that the Arab ate sometimes was not amazingly, was not something that you would see and decide that it's not an appetite opener, to say the least. So this man put in front of the Prophet ﷺ some barley and a bowl. Within it was jerky, beef jerky or lamb, and pieces of dubba. Dubba, we don't know. There's a family of vegetables where cucumbers and zucchinis and squash and pumpkins all belong to. If you look it up in botany, it has a name. I think it's similar to the word cucumber. I can't remember what it's called. But it's like a family of vegetables. So we don't know exactly which one it was that he had, alayhi salatu wasalam. We think it's a type of squash that existed in that area. That because some people still have it. We don't think it's cucumber. We think it's a type of pumpkin or squash that exists in that area. Because you can't really cook cucumber without ruining it, but you can cook pumpkin and squash without ruining. So we think it's a type of that. Dubba is called. يقول أنس: فرأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يتتبع الدباء حوالي الصحفة فلم أزل أحب الدباء من يومئذ. He said, I saw the Prophet ﷺ when he's eating with the piece of bread. He's following the dubba in the large in the bowl because he wants to have it in his piece of bread. He likes a dubba. So Anas said, and since I saw him do that, alayhi salatu wasalam, I've always loved dubba. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ajma'in. And this is not a requirement. Loving dubba is not a sunnah. Just so you understand. Like you don't have to love dubba to be a good Muslim. But it tells you something again about the mentality of the people who were with him, alayhi salatu wasalam. What I'm interested in is not that you understand that he loved dubba, because I don't even know exactly what dubba is to begin with. Like we're not even sure. Like the scholars aren't even sure. It's not like I'm not sure. The scholars are not sure. The idea is the mentality of the people who were with him, alayhi salatu wasalam. They loved him at a level where they were willing to fall in love with the food that they didn't like if they saw him liking it. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ajma'in. Do you understand what degree of love that requires? For you to change your acquired food taste, like to change your taste in food, to like something that you didn't like before just because he liked it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ajma'in. And that's how they felt. That's how Anas grew up with him. Wanting, and Ibn Umar has a similar hadith, obviously, that is a bit more famous than this one. All right, the second one that I'm going to share with you. حدثنا قتيبة قال حدثنا ابن لهيعة عن سليمان بن زياد عن عبد الله بن الحارث قال أكلنا, and this is a hadith just, where's Khalid Sultan? He's not here tonight? He's not, okay. I'll spite you then, since no one else is spite. قال أكلنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم شواء في المسجد. حديث رواه الإمام الترمذي بسند صحيح. So we ate with the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام barbecue in the masjid. Shiwa is anything that is being barbecued. This is what I didn't make this up. This is Abdullah ibn al-Harith in the hadith Sahih fi al-Tirmidhi, that we ate in the masjid with the Prophet alayhi sallam shiwa, something that was barbecued outside was brought into the masjid and eaten. And this is why I think masajid have to be brought back in terms of the purpose that they serve and the way that they're run. Because the masjid to them, to the Prophet ﷺ, the people with them, they served more than just a place for spirituality. It was a place where they lived, where they shared, where they existed, and they learned to get along, and they learned to cooperate and respect one another and understand the diverse community that they belong to. And that's a piece that we're for sure missing. So I know Muhammad doesn't care, but I need to spite someone with this hadith, so I chose you. And this is the final one that I'll share with you. قال حدثنا محمد بن بشار قال حدثنا مسلم بن إبراهيم قال حدثنا أبان بن يزيد عن قتادة عن شهر بن حوشب عن أبي عبيد رضي الله عنه. أبي عبيد is not Abu Ubaid, is a different one. قال طبخت للنبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قدرة وقد كان يعجبه الذراع فناولته الذراع. Al-Qidr, he said, I cooked for the Prophet ﷺ a pot, and within it were pieces of meat, and he liked ﷺ the arm of the sheep. يعجبه الذراع فناولته الذراع. So I did this for him, and I wanted to give him a piece of meat that I knew that he liked. He had his يعني his taste in meat عليه الصلاة والسلام. He liked the arm of the sheep. فناولته الذراع. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم ناولني الذراع. Give me the arm. قال فناولته الذراع. So I gave him the arm. قال ناولني الذراع. Give me an arm. فقلت يا رسول الله وكم للشاة من ذراع. How many arms can one sheep have? فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم والذي نفسي بيده لو سكت لناولتني الذراع ما دعوت. He said, if you didn't say anything, every time you put your hand in, you would have given me an arm until I finished calling you. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But you spoke out of turn, and you objected where it wasn't your space to object, and you didn't do what you were told. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He liked the arm of the sheep, alayhi salatu wasalam. And that was his adab of food. He ate whatever was available. Whatever was available, he ate. ما عاب طعاما قط. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He never in his life said something negative about food in his life. In his life, he never said anything negative about food, ever. And he liked it, he ate it. If he didn't like it, he didn't eat it. He never said anything negative about food in his life, alayhi salatu wasalam. He ate what was ever available, and if he didn't find food available, he would fast, alayhi salatu wasalam. And whenever he had food, he would share it with Ahlul Sufa, the people around, and he refused to eat alone, alayhi salatu wasalam, all his life. I hope that was a benefit to you. Subhanakallah bihamdika, la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Jazakumullahu khair.